Good afternoon, everybody. It's a Saturday afternoon, and it's got some Armel games. Just a couple of them. The final games of Division A2 to determine the standings going into Session 6, the final session to determine promotion. We've got 3 players currently in that promotion zone at this table. Julian, Kenyon, and of course Aaron just outside that zone. Jen in the fight to avoid the relegation. Should be an exciting 2 matches. They've played 2 already. I believe Kenyon was the big winner in the first game to put herself in a strong position. Game 3 of the set in progress. We've got Aaron as the first dealer, Kenyon to the right, Julian across the table, and Jen on our left. And Aaron's got an amazing high as dealer. Ricci Pinfudora, most likely here with 2 diamond shapes. 2 5-pin and 5-8 so necessary to slam Ricci. On the right, Kenyon Ishanten for Tanya. Can also work her way towards a Pinfu of her own, maybe Ipeko with a proper Mandraw. Across the way, Julian might be leaning in the direction of Honitsu, but can just call for Chun only. Actually discards the 9-pin, so definitely planning to just play efficiently here. Notably, Kenyon calling away the 4-mod. Puts her in Tempai on the 7-pin. It will come out. So cheap 1,000 point hand to start the game off. And a little bit unfortunate for Aaron, who had such a great high pie. I believe he took the first place in the second game. Kenyon now in the dealer seat with a door acceptance and a nice pin block. Good jamming in the Manzu as well. Promising start. Julian to the right also can accept a Dora. All the blocks are there, but the Manzu ones could certainly use some improving. Across the table, Jen with a very average looking high pie. Has that floating Dora though in hand, as well as Aaron on the left. Both players want to use it in some way. Hopefully pairing it up given the number of Dora there in the wall. Well, now Julian has drawn the third, so pairing up becomes a slightly more difficult challenge. Of course, Aaron on the left opening with the Yakuhai Pei already. Now hoping to complete a 1,000 or 2,000 point hand. I should say 2,000 or 3,900. And working this hand to something that looks a little pair heavy now. 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs. Drawing a Dora would solve most of her issues with this hand. But Chito as a backup option is definitely viable here. Srimon moving her in the direction of Tanyao. Can definitely see West coming out in the future. I wonder if the 2-mon or 7-so comes out, if we'll see a Pom. Aaron will advance this hand. Ishantan now looking for a pair. Kenyon even calling the 3-pin, so wants to maintain the dealership even if it's only for 1,500 points. It's getting to the point in the round where players typically Ricci should like to be able to win the hand before that can happen. Pulling into Tempai, 2-pin, 5-pin. Has several tiles in the wall, 4 of them. And with all these open hands, the other players have to be concerned about discarding the Dora. Julian now has drawn a pair of Dora. And it's going to be maybe even considering opening up here to move for Tanyao. Because it certainly feels difficult to discard an 8-so at this point. Caught by Kenyon reveals the Chun to be the new Dora, but that's not relevant at all to any of these players. In terms of relevance, Julian and Jen can Ricci, so the Uda, bonus Uda might be useful to those 2 players, but outside of that, just extra foo for Kenyon here. And even that is not going to be terribly relevant. She shifts to a Shabo later in Sumos. Technically Ishan 10 for Julian if he chooses to accept this 7 so wait. We'll cut away from the 3-4 mon. Most likely assuming that Kenyan is Tenpai and just playing safe with the 3 here instead of cutting the 3 pin or the 7 mon. Looks like we're seeing a fold from the right. Aaron still angling towards that Tanya Dora 2 hand, but very cautious about discarding this 4 mon. And at this point, if he draws anything around the 8 so, he'll happily accept a K10, even if it's the 9 so. Still 3 tiles in the well for Kenyan's weight. Oh, there's Tenpai. Aaron will jam the 4 mon, and it passes. With 8 draws remaining, that means that even Julian has a chance to find Tenpai as well. He will temporarily miss, can cut them in like 8 pin. If he was really greedy, 5 pin would deal in. Uh-oh. It's Aaron who draws it. So, just the 1500 for Kenyan. 2 cheap hands to start off, but in the lead. And still in the dealer's seat. Haipai looks pretty fast. Can call the Hatsu. If you could find an 8 pin, then you've incorporated a door shape as well. On the right, lots of edge-based sets. 1-1-2 pin, 6-7-9 pin, where the 9 pin is the Dora. Could see the 6 pin coming out if Julian wants to confirm door usage here. Of course, it's 7-8-9, so all moves you in the direction of some type of Chanta hand. But of course, a 4 so draw or a 5 pin draw can easily move you back towards a normal hand. Across the way, Jen with shapes, but none of them good or valuable. Outside of, I guess, a couple Diamond, but sort of overlap the improvements from the other blocks. There's the Hatsu, there's the Pon. On the left, Aaron with pair of Dora, pair of Haku as well. He might open up for this hand. Now with 4 pairs in total. He considers the extra acceptance in the pins and actually takes it. Going for a more headless shape. Oh, it does find the 8 pin. So now, trying to lock in ahead in either the 5 so or the 8 so. She sort of anticipated that it was a possibility that she would not be able to accept the 3-5 and 3-5 so and 7-8, and just aimed for the better pair acceptance. Now shifts to be able to accept the 1 mon instead. Incidentally, that's a Dora Pon from Aaron, so he's showing some expensive threat here. Kenyan will just jam the Haku anyway, and that means Ishanten for Aaron. For Haku Dora 3. If he pairs up 7 mon or 8 mon, he can consider Toy Toy as well. Tenpai for Kenyan now, just picking her Tanki. Perhaps the 8 mon because it's Suji. But she can swap this around to whatever she draws next. Like this 4 mon, which just came out from the left, and also the 1 mon came out across the table, so players will know that it is safe to Aaron, and doesn't matter, just sumo it yourself. So Hatsudora, the hand's slowly improving in value. 3,000 now, 1,000 all, plus the 100 home buff. So we've gone from 1,000 to 1,500 to 33. This is where we're going to blow things open. Nice shape in the Sozu. Diamond in the upper Monzu. Dora South is oftentimes, the South isn't oftentimes the first cut here, but it's the Dora, so it's actually kind of tricky to decide what to do here. Maybe the Penchun cut. Maybe you should just go with the full efficiency and cut the Dora anyway. But no, it is the Penchun. Julian opens up with the Chun Anko and a Dora. That is his Yakuhai too, so if he could pair that up, it'd be worth a lot for him. Across the table, Jen also opens with a Dora. Another hand that is lacking in serious shapes or value outside of getting lucky with more Dora draws. Aaron, another pair heavy hand. I see 4, but no Dora. Interesting choice by Kinyon here to discard the 3-mon, 1-mon shape over this West. It feels like Honitsu might be a little too far away. Only 2 pairs to Chitoy now. Holding this tile of safety. And perhaps Kinya's decided that she never wants to drop the Dora. Oh, but it came out from Julian. Ishanten for Julian now. Can call the 7, so it is the most difficult to complete shape. But would just be Chun Onne with 600 in the middle due to Homba. I imagine he'll just hold this shape. Oh, goes ahead, cuts the 8, so looking for the big improvement. 1-mon draw towards Itsu. Aaron, in the meantime, has turned his hand into something extremely workable. Ricci Pinfu, perhaps. You pick no chance except for the fact that Julian just discarded pair of 8, so. And Jen actually shunted as well across the table for Ricci Tanya Pinfu.
Boom.
He's going to make a fight for this Tenpai. Has a chance at finding the 5-pin as Aaron wants to discard that in the near future.
Each.
Out it comes. Will we see a Chi?
Chi.
Yes. Ishanten for Kinyon. I say Ishanten is technically Tenpai, but cannot win. There's no Yaku, so Ishanten for a hand that can actually win. And this
Chi.
Chun for Jen is not necessarily safe. It is Shonpai, but she does jam it, and it passes. No con from Julian. Now this is a hand that can win. 9 so will come out. 5-8 so is the weight for Kinyon and Aaron. And for Jen, 4-7 pin. Julian not trusting twice cut Hatsu. But then draws the 8 pin and decides to bail out anyway. There's the 8 so will be another Kinyon victory. Tanya only, once again. This time we'll pick up the Ricci stick, so 3,100 points, incorporating the Homba and the Ricci stick. And the snowball continues up to 38.9. It feels like you've done a lot of work to only have earned a Mangan's worth of points, but every little bit adds up. All right. Looks like I'm going to be joined by a bonus caster. As Kenyon continues this dealership, I see a Korak is available.
Something like that anyway.
Finished up early?
Yeah, I did. Was playing live, and we were on a tournament timer, so instead of 2-hour games, they were 75 minutes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, this has been Kenyon's charge up towards the top of the standings so far, currently in 4th place, and looking to make up even more ground in this game, has been on a winning streak. Looks like that streak might be coming to an end in this hand, as there are some very close hands to Tempai.
Dealer has Chudora, but the shapes are just awful. Kanchan, how many Kanchan does this hand have? 5?
Yeah, that's my count too. Julian's hand extremely callable. Gen across the table, Chitoi Ishanten, but also can work this
Well,
hand.
that's Tempai across the way.
Oh, I guess it's
Just the
Chitoi
2-2
Jianshan.
rate will just Dama
Each.
here.
And of course, Aaron was Ishanten as well. So Richie Nomi
3-4 weight,
Chi.
Richinomi.
can at least break Ipatsu and play towards Tanyao. Now, Jen, the question posed to her, do you want to fight?
Well, with that hand, what else you gonna do? I mean, the Nakazuji 4.
Goes with the Chuso. And at least the 6-pin is a great floating tile. She can easily draw back into
Nice
Tempai.
pull the tune there by Julian. So now a very wide Ishanten.
Diamond. Oh, that 6-mon.
Well, now it's just perfect Ishanten. With that much value, you just shove. I just throw the gate. It looks bad against that hand. What else are you gonna do? Just gonna try and fold out, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, Julian has shown a little bit of passivity in this game. I think that tends to be his play style, a little bit safe. Certainly
Well,
similar to my
Kinmoshi
own.
back, but chances are you're gonna use the 6 of the pair.
Yeah. I think Julian's ready to be out. Goes with the 8-pin though. And Jen back into Tempai on that 7-pin.
Tanya door 1. The 7 looks pretty good in the wall with these pawns.
Yeah, she's really hoping that she'll be able to snipe this. Of course, Aaron here sitting like, where's my tile? I've been waiting for forever. Can't see, of course, but Chen's holding 4 of the 7 tiles. I guess there's 6 from Aaron's perspective. And Kenyon's got another one. That Suji has not been cleared, and Jen does not want to play it.
Should not Chi here because they give Haite draw to the Ricci.
One more draw for Tempai. That's technically Tempai, but
Well, you can just jam the 8. You see 3 of the 6s. I'd go ahead and take the Tempai. But doesn't want to throw it on that Hote, which could always be expensive. And Richinomi says, you know what? I didn't want to win that hand anyway. I'll take my 3,000 points from it.
yeah, 3,000 worth more than 26. And oh my goodness, we're Ishat then.
Well, yeah, and forget Ishanten. It's just Chinitsu. Pawn. I'd 100% pawn that.
Yeah, it's Chinitsu unless we draw the Dora. Unless we pair up the Dora. And if you pull that, then you're already giving up on pairing up the Dora idea.
Each.
Slams it. Okay, Ricci Pinfu. That's an interesting spot. Do you take this Ricci or do you just cut the 3/4 so?
Oh, can you not hear me? Because I've been saying never take this.
Oh yeah, I think your mic blipped out there a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely would have passed this. I'd have cut 3-4.
And then
I
you
would
can
have palmed the 9-pin. I wouldn't even consider going normal hand with this.
yeah. There are a Ricci stick in for home to collect. He does grab the 2/6.
Will be good enough. Ricci Pinfu. And the Aura. That's going to hurt Jen quite a bit, but a very close matchup for first.
Yeah, the Uda definitely makes you feel a lot better about slapping the Ricci there.
Pretty good shapes here for dealer. You have the overlap. 4-pin would make this hand much cleaner. Also, you have a floating door, but the floating door Hatsu, you're always in the situation of when do I cut it? one of the hardest decisions all of Mahjong. You have that floating honor Yakuhai Dora, and you just know it doesn't fit, but there's so much value if it ever pairs up.
Yeah, it's one of the decisions that I like the least in Mahjong, but it seems to happen so frequently. Did with pretty okay shapes on the right. Maybe Itsu for Aaron across the table.
No, it's Ryan Shunten for dealer still.
Boom.
See the West call
And
Sumo.
Aaron says, I don't need any value in this hand. Just get me out of here.
Yeah, 1,000 plus 1,500, good enough. 1,500, of course.
And really, with those shapes, I don't blame them at all. What are you
Yeah.
going to get from this? Itsu, and the tiles you need for Itsu are 3, 6, and 9.
Notably, Aaron holding this con.
Oh, yeah, these shapes are bad enough. I strongly agree with holding the con.
Kang.
Feels the
Goes and
south.
takes it here, thinks the head's good enough. So, planning to cut the 1-2 so. I might have just cut the 1-2 so and kept the West anyway, though.
Yeah, I mean, if someone slams a Ricci at this very moment, it'll be
Oh,
problematic.
well, that's your reward. Is now you have to worry about it by not throwing the 2 so. You could pawn that, but I don't think that moves any faster. Anyway, needs the 3-6 and 6-9. Currently, Shunten.
Jen will struggle to use those tiles, though. However, so many of them are being held by Julian and Kenyon that might just take a while for him to get items.
Oh, well, that's a hand. Ricci, Dora 2, may even Dama this. But with the 9, you figure there's a decent chance it just comes out.
Yeah, I mean, the Dama, when you have the door pair, is always interesting. You're making a judgment. Oh, hang on a second.
3-sided Tempai. Could see a double roan if the 9 so comes out here from Kenyon.
You're always making a judgment about whether you think someone's holding onto a Dora and will just drop it naturally from their hand. There's always the risk of not being able to win when the 9 so comes out. I think it might be late enough that Ricci is fine. But I do quite like the Dama for this Dora Shabo sometimes.
Well, that's a Tempai on the left. We'll just Dama here on the Gibutsu 5, waiting 5-8.
Sumo.
And that's why you're Ichi.
Of course, the reason Dama is because she recognizes the door is really bad here. And ended up getting the winning tile instead of the dealing tile.
Most interesting hand is that one on the right has that floating Dora, but it's likely just Horitsu.
Yeah, unless that pairs up quickly. Honitsu and Dora pair are worth the same value.
Oh, well, says forget that. The shapes are good enough. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
And now the hand pretty transparent. And Kenyon immediately drops Pinzu. I can see what you're doing. Let me just get rid of these tiles before they become bad. And
Ishan 10 headless now.
Yeah, not much time to get rid of these. 7 pin next. Jen might have Shinitsu thoughts of her own. Is moving in that direction. Okay.
Well, that kind of kills the third potential Chinitsu on the board with that 6 draw. Kenyon was tempted by him, but not anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
now
very surprised Jen passes that 8.
certainly does feel like a almost necessary tile for this hand, but
And kind of similarly, I'm surprised that Aaron passes the 3 pin. You could have cheated with the 1-2 and actually give yourself a pretty good route towards Itsu. It's another Yaku. But prefers the headless shape.
That's true. Itsu as a bonus here would turn it into a Mongon.
Well, that's the reason Jen didn't call the 8. Just figured she'd draw it herself.
Well, here's the 3-Mon.
Oh, you have to take this, don't you? Yeah. Interestingly, takes from the chi here. So, very ugly shapes left over. I prefer the 4-5 instead. Because that way you can still pull the 1 and the 2, which seem pretty likely to come out given these boards.
That's true. Pon super viable when you've got the player on your right who can't use any Manzu. But Kenyan draws Dora, and now we'll play for the 1-1. Has Tanya as an option as well.
Yeah, it's just Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Ipeco, Dora, Ishanten.
Boom.
Could even just take the Tempai 3-sided now. 5-8-4. Of course, the 8s are 3 in the hand, 5s are 3 out, and 4s are 3 out. So actually a pretty trash weight for 3-sided.
Oh, that's useful. It's Tempai.
That's an easy take. I think, yeah, there you go. Tempai waiting on 3-mon.
Aaron also just got there too.
Tempai can switch to the 2-5. We'll just wait on the non-tanki.
Hell, wait, non-tanki. Okay. Oh, there's the 5, so it's gotta
Gonna
come
deal
out.
in a cross.
Don't.
Tanya Dora 1 shuts down Jen's dreams with this monster hand.
Dealer, she needs his 12,000 points. But we're moving into the South rounds. Aaron back in the dealer spot.
Boom.
Can call the Yakuhai, but it's no longer double Yakuhai, so you're not as thrilled by it.
And the shapes are good enough here that you might just want to pass the first turn.
Well, the question here is, can you, well, just draw it yourself.
Just
Don't worry
draw.
about that then.
Well,
Now, the question is, you cut the 8 so or do you cut the 7-9 pin? I'm going to cut the 9 pin here.
yeah, it's essentially a Jiankun in the Sozino 468. Seems good. Cutting the 8 so it'll also be fine for like a 6-block shape.
Well, potential 4-4-4-6 needing a pair. And yes, it would be 6 block at that point.
Now, if we see the 7 pin come out, Kenyon really
You
wants
have
to cheat
to
us.
cheat that. That's not even a question. The question there is you get super greedy and play for the Honitsu. And Kenyon looks at the score and says, yeah, we don't need it. Especially after cutting the West earlier.
Oh, we do need it.
Well,
we do
never
need
mind.
it.
We're back in business.
And the Haku didn't get followed, so either someone's holding against their safe tile or it's in the wall. People are chugging out these honor tiles like it's nobody's business. So very likely if they were holding it, it would either been called or been discarded.
And 7 pin there doesn't do much, but it does allow you to get a 7 pair up, of course. The 5 does not actually speed that hand up. This should be a pass.
Chi.
You can make an argument that there are a lot of ways to do it, but yeah, you look at this shape, there are a lot of potential upgrades, but I think I like the draw more.
Yeah, it really comes down to, do you think the draw is going to be better? Oh, Tempai for Julian. He'll slam.
Yeah, just Ricci, Pin, Fudora 1. Very basic hand, but you don't need anything fancy. Ah, there's the Haku! Oh no!
I guess she only drew it because of the chi, but it still feels sad to pick it up. And Julian probably hesitating, deciding whether to wait for the 6-pin draw for Tanya and Sanchoku Chance. But I think given that it was just Sanchoku Chance and he already has Ricci Pin Fudora, decided to let it go. That's a Dora. That's not going to stick in Kenyon's hand.
Yeah, it's gonna throw the 5. Does not end the ways for this hand. Does not end the ways. Oh, well, that's just Tempai. Ricci the 4. Yep, there it goes. This is Ricci, Tone.
3 in the wall. Versus 3 for Julian's 5-8 so wait. So even battle. Kenyon draws one of
Well,
Aaron's
there's
tails.
one of those sevens, but throws the correct seven. Okay, yeah, just gonna attempt to fold out. Ooh, there's one of those fours. The
Chen
four is now dead. The seven is one left.
drawing all of these Dylan tiles. The two players who are not Arichi have figured out that Sosu is the cheaper suit here.
Well, that's what they think.
Sorry, Pinzu. Um, I think the
Yes, neither way is in Pinzu.
oh Jen just collecting all these Dylan tiles. Has the 2-pin, of course. It will be Ryukyoku. That means we'll stay here in Aaron's dealership. One home bot, 2 sticks in the middle.
Now you're here, you just want to win something quick. Pick up 2,300. Boosts basically a one on hand to a three on hand.
Hard to pick out the quickest hand here. No one with an immediate
Yeah, a whole lot
Yakumo.
of very mediocre hands. Dealers is probably just flat out bad, but everyone else, you see potential there. It's just messy.
Jen may be the best Tanya route. I think, though, that Jen typically has a pretty closed playstyle, so I'm not sure she's going to be so willing to open up for a fast Tanya, even with the 2 sticks.
Well, also, the problem is a lot of those calls, you're going to be stuck with the 2-2-3, and you really want to use that 3 since it's Dora.
Right. And you're not anticipating a 4-mon to come out so easily because it's next to Dora.
On the other hand, if Julian throws it, I'd absolutely take it. Just go. Take that as your signal.
Yeah, 4,300. Maybe that's enough to win here.
Well, now they shapes are good enough that you might even pass it.
Especially since you picked up another.
Another Otizuki you're not really thrilled with.
Right. That again, we've advanced this far in the hands, and outside of Jen, no one's really making progress. I mean, Aaron might think about Chitoy at this point.
Ishan 10 for Jen. Ryan Khan. Not Chitoy, Ishan 10 for dealer now.
Oh, this completes your pin shape, but you feel sad about not having the 2-pin anymore. Julian with the door block now, 2 away from Tempai. Still a battle between Aaron and Jen right now. And you'd expect Jen to find Tempai sooner.
Chitoy, Ishan, across the way for Julian. Although we have a couple people that are kind of hedging towards even Suanko, but it's so late at this point. You
Ooh.
might pawn this. You're a little worried about having to throw that 2-bond eventually, though. So I'd get rid of it right now.
Yeah, it's hard to decide which is worse, the 2 or the 5.
Boom. Boom.
Toy Toy's trading.
Well, get rid of
calls.
both of them. Solves your problem.
Now Toy Toy Tempai
Boom.
for Julian. Can you getting in on the
Man,
calling
all of
act?
a sudden the hands have all opened. And there's Tempai.
Boom.
You pawn cut 8, or pawn cut 5, one of the two.
7.
And that's a Dora, and that does not feel good. Especially
No.
the two people opening for a look like Tanya and says, nope, we're done.
So Kenyon, sorry, Jen, very close to maybe dropping this 5 so. Or One pin, one mon. Where have those been? I finally found one.
Tempai on the left on the 1-4 pin, or 1-4 mon. Tempai for dealer on 1 mon.
3 tiles in
And
the ball.
Julian is in an awkward position because that 1 mon actually looked reasonably safe to their Ichi here. But the 7 is definitely safer. Oh, just sumo.
Why is the one pins that were so late in the wall? It's a big win. Another Ricci stick for Aaron.
Picks up 3,300 just from the middle in addition to the value from the hand itself.
All right, 3 floating players now. Aaron continuing that climb towards Kenyon's high water mark. Nice potential for this high pie too. The right, Kenyon with 3 pairs. Okay shapes, although a lot of pairs for
well, the North
hand.
came out, and you could see the hesitation. Can I call that? No.
And that means that there's a decent chance the North pair will be coming out of Kenyon's hand later. 2 tunes have come out. Julian
Mildly
refuses to
surprised that Chun have been called. Yeah, Julian just selling out on Cheat Toy.
Yeah, it is Ishanten.
I prefer Toy Toy and potentially the Honitsu shift. I figure 1 pin, 2 pin are just very likely to come out. That hand does qualify as the Toy Toy dash.
Ishanten, but really needs the 5 pin to have a good weight. And honestly,
well, if she gets the 7, so she may just Dama and greed for Suwanko.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Oh, there's
well, there's Chitoy. Just Dama's here waiting on the 9 pin.
So imagine
probably trying to look for something better. I don't think the 9 pin's that bad.
Yeah, I think he likes the quality of the 9 pin, but dislikes the 9 pin given his pond.
I think it's fine. It's like, what are you going to do? And now you have your 5, and now you look Chitoy. Should just be the 6. There it goes.
Are we going to see the Ricci because it's become Suji now?
Now that's a decent wage. You have the Suji and Monzo look very cheap against you. We'll see if that's the switch, and that's going to be the play. But all 3 of the 7 are still on the wall.
Yeah, so not only is it a sneaky weight given the pond, but also just live. Just as live as the 9 pin was.
It does not look live with those pawns. I wouldn't believe for a second all 3 of them were there.
See how Aaron reacts to this. Felt comfortable enough jamming the Suji 8 pin, even though there was a 5 pin followed by a 9 pin Ricci. I'd be a little suspicious.
They just shoving. I think I'd have gone with a 2 because it's not like you get that much acceptance accepting the 3 anyway.
Yeah, and I think.
And now you could have been Tempai.
That was one reason that I was thinking Julian could just slam the Ricci, because I think Aaron is not going to care about your Ricci.
G cut 1-1. Yeah, that's the play. But I feel if you're going to do. Oh, avoids drawing that 7. The problem here is with that 8 pin cut. What's the 6 going to do? Must be using it as a planned safe dial.
Or draw back into
just
tempo.
wait on the 5. There is only 1 left in the wall, though, but it is in fact in the wall.
Can you know Ishanten?
So it's 1 versus 2 right now. Is it Tempai? Has to be.
It's a bad Tempai, but it is indeed Tempai.
Is that a bad Tempai? I think that's a 2-3 shape.
Oh, you're right. It is a 2-3.
Sumo.
Oh, just fine.
Never mind.
I was looking at the Tempai that you get from dropping the 2 so, but this is obviously better. Doesn't take the Ricci though, and avoids giving a stick to Aaron.
Yeah, I would have dropped in second place from that stick.
As is, still maintain a tight 1.7k lead. Aaron with a speedy looking high pie.
It's the type of high five that looks better than it actually is. Because without like the 5 mon, it's going to be very messy. Likely bad shape at the end anyway.
Oh, sure.
And even here, the
Probably.
normal cuts to the Dora and just gets rid of it. Just in time, too, as Kenyon pairs it up the next turn.
Yeah, I wonder if Ken would actually call that in to try for Honitsu. As it is, now looks like a Cheetoy.
Maybe, yeah. I think you just hedge towards it. You cut the one of the honors. Just keep playing normally, and if it goes the route you want, great. And if not, well, there's always backup plans. Oh!
Julia now making moves. I want to see a 1-2-3. It's not quite there yet, but I want to see it.
The pair would have to be something in upper so then, though.
Yeah, we can use the 4 pin as the pair actually, and then draw the 7 so and be happy.
True.
But those are some very specific draws.
Yeah, you're much more often just aiming for the Apeco here.
Cheetoy, Ishanten, waiting room for Kenyon.
Yeah, Julian doesn't like this hand. Just gonna go ahead and get the safe tiles. I'm gonna keep greeting this. Oh, there's the pair. That's definitely looking more like Rishi, Pinfu, possibly Peiko than the Sanshku now.
Yeah, right now the
Oh, third door on the right.
big draw for Julian is the 4, so and he can try a different Sanchoku. Go for Peiko at the same
Kenyon
time.
probably just wants to go Toy Toy now.
Yeah.
Gonna see
Oh.
a con.
Just hold the Dialcon instead. This is a little bit weak in some worlds
You
because
should definitely be chewing there for Julian. I don't like cutting that one pin.
yeah, misses a chance at the
Not even
Sanchoku.
really considering the Sanchoku. I think there's a very good chance that 9-so is in the wall.
Like if
We
you draw,
can tell it's not.
if you draw one mon, you really want to slam the Ricci. And
Well,
Yeet.
and yeah, see, you'd have been in the same position anyway. It didn't make a difference.
well,
You did lose a bit of options.
here you could at least have the chance at Sanchoku reaching with the.
Oh yeah, because you'd reach you the 4.
Right. Ricci Pinfu. Oh, there's the 4, so everything's backfiring. Kenyon had already dropped the ton, so no pon aiming for Toy Toy. We're back in the Cheetoy idea.
Yeah, Kenyon gives up the 9-mon as well, so just hard selling out on the Chito. And Toy Toy apparently was the option, as would already be temp by now for it. And now just takes a look at it and says, okay, I'll take that as a sign, and just folds.
Or we're back. Back to Ishanten.
Yeah, we're going to be for a 10.
Still technically Ishanten.
And still for a 10, most likely.
Yeah, we need to draw the last 4 mon. Aaron tries the 4 pin. Doesn't want to con just yet. Considering conning just for a save tile.
That should be a chi.
Boom.
Oh, denied.
But denied. Tempai on the left. This is Tanya on 2-pin.
Of course, Fudi 10, so cannot roll. Aaron finds the 3-mon and the 2-mon as his final 2 save tiles. And they were indeed safe, but just barely.
All right. Well, that gets Julian back over 30,000, and we're in South 2 now. Holmba continue to stack up. We're 4 now.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Homba stacking. I mean, the game started with 5. Now up to 4 for Kenyon's dealership. Saipai is awkward with the Penchon and the Penzu and the Kanchan and the Manzu, but you could find yourself with an early Ricci, even if it
Jen
is
just wants
bad weight and value.
Junshan with that hand. That's a beautiful hand. It does not want the 6-so whatsoever. Sanshogu, Junshan, Dora 1.
I mean, sometimes that's what it takes to come back in a game is one of those statistically less likely hands.
Interesting that Kenyon goes ahead and breaks a pair. You cut the 9-pin and not really lose much here, but still hedge the Chi-Toy. Because if you draw that 7-pin, then you'd already have the Chi-Toy Tempai, rather than this, what now would be kind of an awkward Ryan Shunten.
Looking for, see, 2-3 pins in the wall. Of course, the Dora has 2 in the wall as well for Jen.
Let's just do it. With a hand like this, you can call basically anything you want because you know what the shapes are going to be. 7 useless, throw it back.
Well, Saranko chance for Aaron's quite interesting.
There's Tempai, just going to wait on the Dora. Will just be Junchan Dora 1.
Eat.
Junchan.
And we're going to see that Sananko chance on the left.
Dora 1.
Oh, you're right. That is Sanshogu. So yeah, that is Mongon. We'll need a Dora, though. We didn't Genbutsu Dora.
Yeah.
So Julian might throw it, but I think Shasha is going to come out first.
Shun is live. Tuso's 1 left. So, oh, sorry, not 0 left.
Oh, well, there's one of those 9s. And now you're incentivized to just push this hand. Forget anything else. Nope, just folds.
Probably also watching how Jen reacts. Of course, there's the 3-so shove against Suji, so it wasn't terrible. 3-pin is like kind of Sotogawa and, 1 chance, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, I think I'd just shove the 8-so. Said, you know what, that 9-so is good to me too. I'd love to pull it and just go toy with this.
This is absolutely a must-win hand for Jen. Shoot, still buried. 11 draws remain. Kenyon considering this call.
Kenyon's been wanting to play for Tempai, but this is the problem with cutting that 6-mon earlier. Now you just have this floating one. Genbutsu 9, there it goes! Sanshiko Junchan Dora 1, and oh boy, Jen needed that one.
Badly, and now it's anyone's game for second. And still first to be played for as well.
No one's out of it at this point.
Right.
You can come back to first place. They're 2 hands, and of course, with Jen being last dealer, there are routes for more than it looks like right now. Best hand here, I don't know, probably Aaron's. You could look for Chinitsu if you get a couple pawns, but you have so many ugly floaters to go along with it. The most conventional hand is Jen's.
Oh, double none now.
Well, never mind. Now you just pulled. Try to get Toy. You also have floating Dora.
Double none Dora Tonki. That's a way to get a Mungun.
I have never in my life been accused of favoring Dora Tonki. Only like every day.
You see,
I would absolutely pawn that too.
Boom.
Aaron and Chen both opening up. The race is on.
Potential chi toy developing for Kenyon, Ishanten.
Tough choice. You have to make a sacrifice in order to aim for Chitoy, and that's a sacrifice Kenyon is willing to make. This is probably the best route to value that she has, so makes sense.
Magen's trying to lock in the toy rather than anything else and maybe squeeze some of those Mon tiles. The problem with that is the longer you hold them, the worse they get. Now, you gotta pull in that. I think you have to pull in and cut the 6-8. If he needs it, so be it.
Yeah, I wonder which one's better to cut first.
The 6 is usually the better tile to cut first.
Oh.
No, just gonna go Tanya on it. Does not want to throw anything.
Each.
Oh my.
And there's our Chitoy on Pei Tonki, Ricci Chitoy, Dora 2.
One's cut, pulled in the Dora for the Ricci as well. And Aaron's slamming for Shinitsu.
Tempai on the right on Dora Tonki. It's
Not...
dead though.
Yeah, and never coming out. Aaron hesitates on this Haku.
And you have to just chi this and shove the Haku. Nope. Passes, draws the 2. That gives you a very wide Ishanten. But man, you'd really like to have that 1 back.
Nope.
Oh, well, that
a
is not Tempai, but that is super wide Ishanten.
Aaron very concerned about the 6-pin. And normally it would be very bad.
The 6 is really bad here. Well, the 4 doesn't look that bad with the early 2 and then the 7.
6 clears. Aaron can fight now.
Where are the pay?
That's a great question. We've been looking at 2 in the wall this entire time, ever since the 5th turn Ricci. Approximately 5th turn, I should say. There's some calls.
There are still 2 on the wall. We haven't seen either of them.
6-0 might be jammable by Aaron. Oh, there it is, finally.
There's one of them. That's Hanemon minimum.
Check the Ura. Misses.
No, we'll just be Hanemon. McKinian very fine with that result.
Yeah, 15.
And we're in all last, taking complete control of this game.
15,000 point swing to Aaron. So she definitely has advantage. Now, Aaron can come back with the Mangan Sumo to take over first place.
Jen, as dealer here, has a callable Yaku hide. Not really any value, though.
Well, we've seen some players racking up Homba.
Boom.
And we'll open up this one.
As dealer, you just can't let it go, especially because the rest of this hand just isn't going to finish. And if it is, it's going to be Richinomiya if you're not losing any value just opening like that. This is now technically Ishanta needing 2-so and 5-so.
With great shapes across the way. Importantly, callable shapes.
Yeah, Kenyon's not worried about it. I mean, sure, it'd be nice to dump Aaron down below 30K, but Kenyon, especially with where she's in the standings, doesn't need that. The first here, and she's in excellent position going into the final round.
Values the draw. Gets rewarded with a 5-so.
Gets rewarded by it. Jen valuing the safe tile over the potential acceptance with the 1-pin.
Yeah, these blocks pretty much set in stone. Safety
Well, you do
saves.
have that overlap. I'd always be fishing for a little different. The problem is the 3-6 pin, which your most likely upgrades are to happen. That's an easy chi, though. Tempai on 5-8. And it feels like Julian's going to deal in. The question is when.
And with which tile? The 6-0 is drawn. Might hold the shape, but
Well, I think it comes out right here.
8?
No,
On.
folding out. Might be seeing this as Honitsu. I wouldn't treat it as one, but that's how this is being played.
Maybe an opportunity to Katagiri 6-mon, just to say, hey, I had the 6-mon if you thought it was Honitsu.
Yeah. And doesn't decide to go with the flexible Tanki, likes its shape as is.
Come.
You have to con. Gets a Dora off of it, so now it's non-Dora 1.
You know who also gets a door off that? Kenya gets 3.
Well, we see 3 for Kenya, yes. Although she may not even need the 3. Would be really sad if a 6 pin's drawn. That's good enough, though. I think you just Dama this. Tanyao, Ipeko, Dora 2.
I want to see the 4-pin draw so badly. Chi for Aaron Ishanten. I mean for Keiten here.
Man, Julian's hand is just hard stuck. Has been afraid of this 5-8 so the whole time, and it's just likely going to try and fold out of it. That is Tempai on the right, but picks the wrong tile and deals in for 3,900. This interestingly does give Kenyon the only one over 30K right now, and Jen into third place.
Yeah, that was a very relevant swing. And we will repeat one more time.
Jen with a decent hand. Callable Tanya with a Dora. On the right, pretty standard Pinfu hand. Maybe Peiko in middle pin. Across the way, it's either Chanta or Kokushi. We'll see which one. Looks like playing the Chanta out.
Just got a one
Maybe Jun-Chun later. There is potentially Sanshoku there, yes.
We don't have to completely give up hope. But definitely...
I mean, when you're saying, I'm going Chanta, isn't that just you admitting you're giving up hope?
I mean, it's Jun-Chan, okay? Jun-Chan, Sanshoku. That's a justifiable hand here.
That's at least a reasonable hand.
And, of course, Julian wants to pick up, let's see, the gap is 1,400, so 1 Hansumo.
Jen was tempted to cheat that and shift for the 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku. Thinks better of it. Ishanten across the way now. Jun-Chan, Jun-Chan Sanshoku.
And the thing is, like, Aaron has not been able to use these lower tiles at all, so 1 pin Chi, 3 So Chi, 3 Mon could also...
Would be able to use the 7 Mon, though, which is going to be the important tile here.
Yeah, especially given that Jen is holding 2 of them.
Well, there's the Dora, and no one takes it. And that's always a surprise. Like, wait, no one wanted Dora? Well, now the 3 Mon is only 1 left on the wall as well.
Aaron gets the backup 4-pin. A little less exciting than the Dora.
Aaron says, you know what? There's a home out there. 1,000's good enough to get back to 30K. So it'll be perfect Ishanten here for just the Tanyao. And Ishanten on the left. Which one's going to be taken? You could just cut the 1 Mon.
Throws the West back.
Going to throw the West. On the second Dora. Well, this could be a Dora shift. Oh, and there you have that 7, so having already been cut by Kenyon. Can't really accept that 8. Well, there's... No, yeah, like I say, that is Tempai. It's a hideous one. Richinomi on 2 Mon. Tempai on the right. So Tumon is one left. Yeah, one left. Boy,
Awkward.
seeing those highlighted tiles here for Jen. See if she can get out of this. And says, no, we're just gonna fold.
But if
I
she's
trust that someone will win this.
right, she's really relying on Aaron winning because if she's not Tempai,
Yeah. Will drop to fourth. Oh, and there's the 3 that Kenya is looking for the whole time.
yeah, much too late. One 7-mon on the wall for Aaron. One 2-mon on the wall. Julian.
Well, there are all the 7s sitting here with every single one of Aaron's outs except for the 1-4 that's
Sumo.
already in Julian's hand, who sumos. Richie Sumo going to get out of last place. No Ura. So we'll end up with third here, but the big winner is going to be Kenyon, gets the plus 20, 30.5 overall. Going to really strengthen her position here. Aaron takes a second here, draws below 30K, but a minus 1.9 is acceptable. Julian, minus 8.3, and Jen takes a fourth after all that, minus 20.3, but could have been a lot worse without that Mongon with all those sticks in the middle.
Yeah, big swings happening at the end of this game. It looked like the Kenyan show, and Aaron took over. But that big Hanemon Sumo and Chitoi Dora 2 waiting on the pay put Kenyan back in the lead, and she held it. And I think she's very positive in this series with a big
Yeah,
plus.
well, taking a look at the graph, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty standard, and then you hit South 2, and everything just turns into a complete mess afterwards with that Chitoi. First gen hitting that big Mongon hand, and then the Hanuman Sumo by Kenyon.
Yeah, we had first game Kenyan plus 44.8. And this game lost 7.2. Third game picks up 30.5. So net gain of 67 points, putting her in a good position moving into the last game of the series.
Yeah, really, Aaron's kind of starting to fall off. Really needs a big win here. I think it took a pretty bad fourth in this series.
Yeah, he came back immediately with a plus 32.1 first, but still,
Had taken a 50 minus 53.4 the game before.
yeah, needs one more
So
first
we'll
place to
need
make up.
some extra points or maybe some extra spots should there be extra hiatuses in A1.
Currently 2 minutes off from the start of game 4. Julian's been hanging on here, slowly drifting lower and lower in the standings, but with second places and third places. Hasn't gotten that big fourth yet. So still hanging on to that promo spot.
Well, generally, when your spread is 8-4, 3-4, you're doing quite well.
Much better than 7-3-3-7. Which is
Well,
I'm
yeah, but
very
that's at least symmetrical.
I do appreciate the fact
Means
that it's
you're obviously
symmetrical.
at 0, right?
Right.
That's always how it works. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, it just confirmed to me that I am very much the type of player that would prefer going 1991 than 7337. Getting first place is nice, but I'd rather have seconds and thirds than firsts and fourths. Yeah, moving into session 6, even before this final game has finished, we're setting up for a very tight race in both the promotion line and the relegation line. Especially if there's one promo spot, then there's a bit of a cliff right now, but anything could happen in session 6, especially if Aaron picks up a big first here. And there will be 7 players vying for those 5 or 6 spots. Of course, bonus spots definitely not guaranteed. Especially given that A1 typically doesn't have, it is typically more stable in terms of hiatuses. Alright, we are off. Game number 4.
Well, dear, here's going to be Aaron. Has a Haku pair. Might even go Honitsu with this. I want to cut the bench on. That's going to be the play here. The full greed. I approve. On the right, Pinfu type hand. Tumon would help immensely. Across the way, Pinfu type hand. Ugly shape in So with the 2-5-8, but that means literally any tile in So will connect. And on the left, I mean, there are ways to make it good, but it's just not there.
That feels
Disconnected tiles everywhere. It might even be Cheetoy. You get 5 pin, you could maybe think about a regular hand. But right now, the hand's just a mess.
feels like advantage Aaron and Jen right now. Dora, difficult for anyone really to use though. See what type of Yaku these players can build. If we're talking Yaku, I am excited about the possibility of 456 Sancho on the right.
Boom.
Aaron is
Well, Aaron gets the first call. Definitely planning going Honitsu. Of course, if you draw another 7 pin, you may head short Soy Toy.
has definitely been doing the 22 lean. Oh, well. We'll continue to hedge
Gonna
both.
leave his options open, is what that discard signifies.
It's one of the awkward monster draws that you can get for the Honitsu because the 8 mon is cut twice. Now, if you can get the last 7 mon, you're very happy to go Honitsu.
Oh, yeah, that'd be an amazing draw here. That's the 5 pin that Kenya's looking for. Drawn the 8 earlier, and now the 5 now. And that hand actually looks very good. I'm surprised the Shaw was cut. That is Dora. When I'm looking at a hand like that, I want any excuse to go to Artanki. Now it's 2 different potential 3-sided weights.
I guess this So
You have
weight.
to cut the pay. Okay, gonna Sakigiri the 5 mon, but I don't think that pay does anything here. We have Tenpai Richi Pinfu on the right, 4-7 mon, and we know where most of those are.
Yeah, filled the 7 So Kanchan.
And Aaron says, well, okay, fun's over. It's time to just try and speed this up. No safe tiles at all for Aaron. He just shoves.
Yeah, Canute holding all these 4, so at that point you think the weight is 4-7. But if you can pass 1, you can pass 4 tiles. Julian attempting to get out.
Oh, and he just realized Kenny drew another West. See, that's why you could have held it. Right now would be waiting 2-5 for Ricci Dora 2.
So we immediately see a Tuso. The last Tuso, I believe.
Well, that is a Tempai waiting on 3 mod if you shove the 8.
While encouraging Julian to fight, and he says no.
Nope.
Still Ishanten, though, can call 3 mon back to
Can
the
try and
front line.
get back into this. Then now sees the 5 con and goes, well, okay, whatever. You see a con for Ishunten? Nope, just giving up. Doesn't want to give the high Tay to Jen with an extra Condora, potentially.
Right.
Done.
4.
But there's the deal in Ricci Pinfu.
No
No,
udons.
so all of that, and it's just 2,000 points.
That's a little bit of momentum for Jen moving into her dealership.
Well, that was a nice Chun Onko there for Aaron. Pretty good shapes there. Dealer here, not with bad shapes either. Potential Itsu in pin with a 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8.
Kenyon looking amazing though across the table.
That is a hand. That
Shanten.
is Ishanten.
Oh, that's ugly.
That's like the worst possible thing to draw. That shape is 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7. You have an extra 3 so and an extra 6 so.
Yeah.
And it means basically anything you draw will upgrade your shape.
I guess you're sitting at a 5/8 diamond and a 1/4 diamond. So it's actually not bad.
Yes.
Whatever you draw, you're gonna cut the edge tile of and have your 3-sided Sanmenchan.
Well, the problem is, yeah, your Sanmenchan in Pinzu's probably gone now. I would definitely have thrown the 3-pin there.
Yeah, like imagine
And
8 still draw.
alternatively, if you wanted to hedge both, you could have cut the 3 so right now.
It's actually quite good.
Well, now Haku is passed by Julian. Definitely just going Chitoy with this.
Tepai. They're just waiting on the 3-pin.
Yeah, Dama's at a Chundora 1, waiting on 3-pin.
So Tepai
Gee.
call is gonna take it actually.
Yeah, it takes a 3-sided Tempai for Tanya Nomi.
Boom.
He senses the Dama on the left.
Well, now I have 2 people open. I would just Sumigiri Ricci now.
Yeah, there is of course the big Dora draw for Ipeko and second Dora.
Boom.
Ishanten on the right now for Toy Toy Haku Dora 2 or 3.
Every single.
Well, that's dealer 3-sided Tempai, Ricci, Pinfu, possible Itsu. There's only one 9-pin left, though. The question is if Julian ends up trying to fold out of this, may fold into the expensive end.
Oh no!
Oh, that's going to be a pot 2 unless we see a fold here. 2-pin is safe
Each.
to the dealer.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, there it
Ricci.
goes. Ricci a pot 2
No.
Pinfu.
Asume, but against all those pushing hands. Ooh!
Just hit the aura. That fixes the problem. There's a direct Mongon. And Jen needs this, especially after the results in the last game.
Yeah, picking up a first here would be huge at -80, right on the border of this relegation zone. A great spot to give herself a bit of buffer now.
Boom.
And a bunch of pretty good hands, all things considered. Dealer's a bit of a mess, but you see the Tanya Pinfu on the right potentially.
Gee.
Across the way has already called the West and is looking pretty fast there. And on the left, we have a potential Dice Ongen.
Needs to draw the last Hatsu very quickly.
No, there goes the Hatsu. I'm kind of surprised. I thought that might get held as the potential final weight there for Kenyon.
Yeah, even over the 7.
Boom.
I guess the 7 has good draws into a headless shape.
Yeah, it looks like Aaron's just planning to get the Haku. Well, that's a headless Ryanman now.
Boom.
Oh, now how greedy do you want to be? And the answer is all of it.
Very greedy. There still is one Hatsu being held here.
And Jen may just squeeze it at this point.
Right. Dragon calls. I mean, the Hatsu left not too long ago, and I'm not sure he's
Well,
got a
that solves
chance.
that problem.
Boom.
And this should it doesn't even matter anymore because that's never finishing.
Yeah, so this is Tempai.
There's
Come.
no world in which Jen ever throws Hatsu.
Decided not to take the Tempai on the 6-pin for good reasons.
This is Furitan if it's taken.
Doria,
And I don't mind Furitan Dama here. Just because if you draw another door, you're... Oh, we'll go for the Sun Anko, I guess.
this way she can't ever deal in with a Hatsu.
This is true. This is Ricci, potentially Hatsu, although we think that's unlikely, and possible Sun Anko.
One tile for its weight in the wall, but Aaron looks like he's jamming. He does not care about this Ricci, even with the con. Unless he draws 8 mon, then he
Well,
might
how many
swap out.
chances do you get for even this hand? Forget Daisang, and even Shosangen's hard to get.
Yeah. You're holding the 7, so backfired on the choice of Tonki.
Plus, even that 6-pin came out across the way from Kenyon. Well, there's a Dora, but it is safe. Unless Kenyon's waiting on it.
Oh, swaps.
Oh, there it goes! Switches the Dora Tonki. Ricci, Hatsu, and the Ura. There's a Mungon with all that foo.
The con does it, and Jen is on a roll. 56,000 points.
Just bullying Aaron's points. And again, Jen needed this, but at the same time, Aaron can't really afford this. He's probably going to fall out of the promotion race unless he can pull this back.
Yeah, so Aaron was sitting with Shosangen, Yakuhai, Dora, Amongon, but recognized that no one was ever going to cut the Hatsu against him. And so said, all right, well, I'll wait on this Genbutsu Dora. Maybe I can snipe that from Amongon instead. It made sense strategically, but Jen was just waiting to snipe it.
Ew.
Ew, it's Sanshoku. It's great. How could you ever say?
It might be Sanshoku. Ew. I stand by my previous statement.
All right, if it's not Sanshoku, it's Junchan Sanshoku. Let's go. That was the hand that brought Jen back into the game.
I'm not really
previously.
buying that with a 4/4 so in hand.
No, it's a little tricky for sure. We're moving in that direction. Let's see. Outside of Aaron's fast hand, maybe...
Might be a 2-so cut, and that'll be Tempai on the left, but no, throws the door instead.
Huh. After
Oh, well, there's your
5-8.
backfire for Jen. One of those Ryoncon is gone. And of course, that's one you draw, because that's always how it works.
Mhm.
Tempai on the left for Haku Dora 1. 3 6-mon. 5 left in the wall. Yeah, Jen just going Sanshoku Nomi. Ishan 10 needs 7-mon and 8-pin. Now, we have a potential Itsu across the way. Now, Ishan 10 could take perfect Ishan 10.
The 6-pin for that better quality weight on the lower pin side.
I mean, you could call this, but it's so sad too.
Yeah.
Could change the weight to a 3/4 on the left if wanted. And I think I would, just because that gives me some flexibility if I get a Tonki I really like.
Yeah. Also, if you sumo the 4, you get some extra food.
Well, there's our Tempai, 3-sided. Ricci, Pinfu, possible Itsu.
1, 4, 7. 1 mon, 3
And
line on
Tempai
the
for
wall.
dealer as well on 7-mon.
7 mon discard would be double rolled.
Oh, there's the 3 deals in on the left to the cheap hand. Well, I say cheap, but it did have 2 Han. Dealer only had the 1. So Aaron at least gets some of those points back, this time from Kenyon.
Hello.
That's a hand.
Suanko Dianshan 10?
Well, if you get the Sun Uncle, I think you Dama, especially with the Yaku High anyway.
Absolutely, especially this early. 3 so live in the wall, 5 so live in the wall.
You're just really sad if like 5 so comes out because you almost have to pull it.
And you don't even have to pull it though. Like, I
Boom.
guess you have 4 so draw for Ipeco as a backup.
Yeah,
Alright, you're not that
not
happy.
taking a Payco.
Yeah, I'm not taking Ipeco.
The 3 so I might pass. I think if the 5 so came out, I'd have to take it. And roll up in a ball and cry afterwards, but I'd still take it. And we see the Honitsu play here by Aaron. Definitely needing points. This play seems perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, notably, due to the West Puln, Jen drew the 5 so instead of Julian.
Oh, just get your second Dora, and now it's Honitsu Shaw Dora 2.
We need 2-5 Mon. Great weight. Oh, and
there it
Julian, that's
goes.
tragedy.
Boom.
Well, that's the problem with that Suanko Ishan 10, and it's not even that far. It was Sananko Ishan 10, and just didn't draw anything the whole hand.
Thanks to the call. The one shot call ruined it all. Kenyon now in the dealer spot. Tanya potential. That's a
And
classic
definitely
hand.
moving towards Tiny. I got to keep that East just because of the double East.
I've seen Kenyon be very rewarded for holding the East late in the past.
I don't think you can call that 2 so.
Not with 2-3 and 7-8 pin.
Well, might go Cheetoy now.
Definitely floating the idea.
It's 4 pairs, so you don't commit to it yet, but it's in the back of your mind. Although it would be much more fun is Sanchiku Doko.
That would be. There's also a potential on the right for Aaron as well with the 9s, other than the fact that Jen has the remaining 9 so in hand. Yeah, 2s for Kenyon, 9s for Aaron. Jen working towards a Ricci. Julian has a callable Haku. I wonder if he passed the first one.
At 7, I feel you almost have to take it now. I'd probably pull and cut 7-8 pin.
Look, it's hard to get Doko if you call that 7 so. So you should pass
It's
it.
hard to get anything if you don't call that 7 so, though.
Fair enough. We'll see.
Oh, there's your 2 mod. And now your Shampon is awful.
It's Cheetoy
It's
now.
a cheat toy. Forget it. It's just cheat toy. The other plans have been canceled.
It always feels this way when you have some choice to call and you say, no, I want to hedge a little bit longer. And then all your other calls come out instantly. It's like, well, I guess I'm doing Cheetoy. Interesting draw from Aaron. Could have like Sanchoku Ipeco.
Yeah, I like getting rid of one of the pairs here.
Of course.
Draws back into it. But there are double Ipeco options now.
Yeah, that's actually not
So
the
it's
worst
not
set of
nearly
pairs.
as bad as it seems. The little set on the Cheetoy end, but you'd still do E-Shunten even for that. Speaking of Cheetoy,
Each.
we'll wait on the 8 pin here. Richi Cheetoy Tanyao. There's one of the 8s, and that doesn't fit in the hand at all, but the 9's going to come out first. That pawn looks like Cheetoy. I would not have felt good about even that 9 pin.
I mean, against Cheetoy, the only thing you can feel good about is Genbutsu.
Right. Well, you do have the 5 and the 6 in Manzu, so or even the 5 so you have more tiles against a Cheetoy than you would expect at this point.
Of course, the 2-pin naturally.
Haku Haku. Yep, that's going to be the play. Oh, and now the
Chi.
Suji, if anyone believes it.
I mean, if Aaron draws,
And there's the 8. So everyone has an 8. Who gives up first? Who trusts that Suji first? The 9 is Genbutsu. Should never come out. At least yet.
Chi.
There's Tempai.
with Sancho or the Genbu. Oh, goes with
Dome.
Oh, deals it! Riichi, Chitoy, Tanyao. This is dealer. Any aura is Hanemon. Nope, just the 9600, but it's in a pretty rough game here for Aaron.
Kenyon showing us once again the power of Chitoy.
Nah, Power of Tito needed a flip aura 2 there.
I mean, you really cannot complain about 96.
No, it's dealer. You'll take anything there. I see a couple Dora on the left. I might see even more Cheetoy.
It doesn't have to be this time. It could be like Ricci, Tonyo, Pico, Shapo.
Yeah, but the 4 pairs, it's hard to work with them. For the 3 or the 7 gums, well, never mind. I was going to go on a tangent, but now the Kanchan's been filled, so.
Yeah, Julian might be working towards a normal hand on the left now. Ooh.
That actually does fit.
Go draw a bit exciting for Kenyon. In a hand where there's not much else that looks exciting, other than, of course, the door pair in Julian's hand.
Decent fill there for Aaron. Ishanten on the left now. Potential Sanso Dora Jampon.
Fancy. Aaron's been working hard to move this into
7
Tonyo.
pin. That's very inefficient. I'm surprised this wasn't just 4 so. Is trying to hedge toward the Sanshoku.
Chi.
We'll see how committed he is to that. Could go 8 so.
Yeah, there it is. I said he was going for the Sanshoku.
I mean, when you're at this number of points, it makes a lot of sense to do this. Kenyon opening up now. Says it's time to hit the go button.
There's so many things that get Kinyu to Tempai here. That's not one of them, though. And Julian's like, could I draw something that isn't Manzu?
Honestly, 3 so, 5 so, 7 so, 8 so. Shaw.
I mean, every single one of those discards either been Manzu or an honor. And there's the Tempai with the aforementioned 3 so West Shampon.
Ooh, Aaron challenges.
And gonna deal into Kenyon here. Just the 1800. And Kenyon says, well, that's what I really wanted is now I can just call double east and go with this hand. The problem is the rest of the hand's a bit of a mess. Upper tiles, maybe a 7 and 9 Sancho eventually. Hand on the right, though, a little more interesting. 4 pairs, Toy type hand. Maybe Honatsu and Mon. Across the way, pretty standard pin Fu can accept a Dora. On the left, a floating Dora, maybe a Tanya hand. Maybe another cheat toy, maybe even a Peiko if you draw, say, 6 pin.
Boom.
There's the tone, there's the poem. Kenyon off to a calling start. Aaron might be one hot to draw away from forcing Honitsu again.
Boom.
Four, so five, so
Isn't hard selling out on it is also going to float Toy Toy here?
that's the door accepting 3-pin.
Well, that may push Aaron towards Sonitsu now. Oh, and there's your Hatsu backfire.
Yeah.
Across the way, Monster Hand developing for Jen.
Richie, Tanya LP, potentially Peiko. Sort of pseudo headless, and now with door accepted.
You wait on the 2-5, so that's okay.
Tsumo door is huge.
Yeah, Sumo Door would be really big here. Well, that's good enough. Julian should just shove. He should show the 4-mon. Maybe in the 3-pin.
I mean, it's hard to fold anyway, so starts with a 7-pin.
This should be an easy chi. Break your Patsu. I'm very surprised Keenan didn't call that.
Oh, and
And that's why you call it!
Ichipa's Tsumo LP, Tanya Dora. Hane for Jen, up to 68,000 points.
Yeah, should have called. That's all I'm going to say about that one.
Yeah,
We're in South 1 now. Aaron has a Hatsu pair and probably call and go with this hand. On the right, kind of a standard Pinfu. Across the way, West pair, so that's a Yakuhai, maybe Honitsu there. And on the left, pretty standard Pinfu hand. Maybe a Tanya, maybe a Peiko with, say, a 2 or 5-mon draw.
to break or naughty break in Patsu always seems to backfire when you choose not to. At least those are the ones where you remember.
So the other thing is, if that Ipatsu had been broken, there would have been an Anko of Dora for Julian, and he may have just gone at that point.
Yeah, followed up 7 pin. And then I guess then it's awkward that he cut the 7-mon. If he had jammed originally, it would have been Tempai.
Boom.
Aaron will open up here. Gonna try to maintain preserve the dealership against another open player. Not the most amazing of shapes.
Dora draw by Julian. Gets rid of the penchant here.
Very natural progression from Julian. Definitely feels like he's got a bit of an advantage here, although Kenyon doing quite well on the left as well. If she could draw 2 5-mon a couple times.
Boom.
Now has 5 pairs. Are we seeing another G-Toy? Caution, G-Toy in progress.
Chi.
Tempai 4, Julian though. Shador 1 waiting 2-5 pin.
Chi.
G-Toy in progress. Isn't that a different way of saying abandon hope, all ye who enter here?
I don't know. Kenyon's won 2 of them for a total of 21,600 points. I gotta say, worked out pretty well for her. This 2-5 pin, though, has 5 in the wall, so Julian will probably be able to shut this down with a 2K hand before Kenyon can make something of this.
Now that is a nice E-Shunten for Jen.
Double Nakabukune shape.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's not the tile you're looking for. But you just throw the 9 back.
Oh, 6 pin.
No. Oh, no. I hate that cut.
Kang.
I hate that cut.
I don't. Maybe the 9
He is
pin
worried
from...
about the Chanta from Julian, or presumed Chanta. And there's your backfire. Because this would be 2 Dora now. Well, it doesn't matter. I guess save the stick from
Save the
it.
stick, yeah. course, Aaron 8, the Oyakabudi there. As expected, Julian pulling out the win. Got the Yasume, didn't pick up the door for the win, but moves to 21k. Now Jen, with the monster lead, has a new goal, and that is dunk Kenyon below 30k.
Well, 7-so would go a long way to making this hand work out because you have that overlap 5-6. Well, okay, that's the other end of the Suji that was needed. Needing a 4 and a 7 pulls the 4 in, at least for now. Potential Itsu upgrades on the right. Pretty standard Pinfu type hand. One Dora needs the Dora indicator, though, or, of course, pair up the Dora. Always my preference. Across the way, kind of Pinfu hand, but that's just Kanchan hell. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, when you get above 2, hand just doesn't feel as good. And on the left, maybe a 6, 7, 8, or 7, 9 Sanshoku, depending on what happens in Monzu.
It's like Jen has the most competitive hand right now, but a couple hands will be set loose if they can draw a very specific tile. For example, 7-mon for Julian would be a huge
There's an Anko
pull.
the 3-mon for Kenyon. Now Ishan 10 would be Richi Nomi, but I think you just cut the 1-mon here regardless. Gonna go ahead and cut the 4, so not a believer in Sanzo.
Now we see Sanzo not really live in the wall anymore. Jen will take this 5 pin as an
Jen just gonna
opportunity.
try and move this towards Tanyao.
Can you just know she's drawing the 1-mon, so has Ishan 10 for a potential Shaba wave she could pull in the 8 pin. Shop that looks quite good.
Ishan 10 for Jen now.
Another
Needs
9-mon
3-mon
presumably.
and 7-so.
There's a small argument to hold the 9-mon because it can accept the Dora, but I think it's probably better to do it this way because then you can accept tiles around the 7-8 together.
Ooh, now that's an interesting shape for Jen.
Certainly feels the widest.
Yes. Because you could always pair the 3 or 6 up and just reach you on the 7.
And Kenyon's been
And
playing
that's
this.
definitely looking like a Tanya there on the right for Julian. I think you just cut the 8-mon, though. 3-so?
Okay, planning to
Oh,
mill the
I don't
gun.
like that one. That feels really inefficient.
It would be Tempai here.
Oh, well, okay. You just got the 8 anyway. The problem is now you're not Tempai with that draw. Like, you could have even gone the 1-so and said, I want Tanyao. But now the hand's just kind of a mess.
Interesting pull. You can cut the 7 pin and have a really wide.
Oh, well, there's your Tempai. On the right, this is...
Each.
Oh, wants both Dora. That was why. I missed that was Dora.
Well, could wait for that terrible 5-8 wait, and does. It's actually
We'll
completely
do so.
live.
This is a Shumpon wait, technically.
Oh man, I can't believe this is as live as it is.
Yeah, you can't expect it, especially with an early 6 from Kid. You figure she was lucky in either a Dora or a Dora shape.
Awkward player to defend against there. Pawn not showing that much. And Aaron's just jamming for Sanshoku Dora, anticipating a 7 pin or 8.
Ishanten for Chitoy across the way.
Let me guess, that's Kenyon?
And that's Tempai. 4E10 for Jen.
We'll jam out the 2 pin.
Tempai on the left. If you throw the 4 or the 7, we'll do so. Oh, there's Dora. I mean, you can't throw that, can you?
No.
No. And says, yeah, I'm glad I didn't throw the 8. Also, wait, what is that shape?
One dead wall, one door dead wall, and 2 were drawn, and the very last go around.
Now we're in South 3. Julian has a pretty standard Pinfu type hand, also a Dora, maybe 79 Sanshku on the right. What do I do with that one? I'm not quite sure. It could be Toy Toy, could even be Tanyao, but I think you just play it efficiently and see what happens more than anything else. Across the way, couple pairs, might be Tanya, might even be Tanya Chitoy, but I think you head towards the Peiko and Pin. Maybe some sort of Sanshku, 4, 5, 6, or 6, 7, 8. On the left, nicely Peiko shape in Upper Mon, also a Dora, but Kanchan everywhere. We complain about Kanchan another. How many does this have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a Chun.
And of course, Julian in prime position to a Monk on make it over 30k. The problem is the hand is not really cooperating. In desperate need of a Sanzo, and we can see those are all being held. Kenyon with a pair, Jen with one in hand, locked away with the Dora, and then one is in the dead wall
Door
as the door
indicator.
indicator. You shut
I
down on
feel
the right.
Julian lost out on a Sanshku here.
It does have that appearance.
Now you just probably lock the 3 as your pair and cut the 1. There it goes. And I don't even feel that bad at cutting the 7, 9. What's really awkward if you draw the 8 so now is then you're tempted to just cut the 2 so and maybe even the Dora.
Yeah, I think for the sake of efficiency, you have to make that play as dealer. But we've seen Julian also read Dora a bit.
Yeah. And you're seeing the 5s out. So you figure it's either paired up somewhere or it's decent in the wall.
Big question for Kenyon. Which way does she want to take? Take the 2-so or the 1-4? We'll take the one that
I
accepts
figure
Dora.
the 1, 4. You want the Dora here.
And with all these 5-so coming out, I mean, Aaron just jamming these 5s. I would actually be really scared about the 5 given a 3-so Ricci and all the 6s in your hand. But it wasn't the 2-5-so Suji, it was the 1-4.
I gotta see if Jen fights this. And doesn't look like it. Might have been able to get away with shoving the 9 so and then making a decision later.
Then for Aaron.
And Jen's out. Maybe Chitoy, but that's all that's ever going to happen here.
Yeah, Jen
feels like it's whether Kenyon can draw it or if Aaron gets to Tempai.
does not need to play any hands for the rest of this game if she chooses against it.
Also the 666 in the middle, of course.
Aaron has a long shot towards Doko. Oh, 6-pin drawn. Okay, it's probably not going to happen then.
Sumo.
There's the one, so was the correct way. Riichi Sumo. Nora, but does get Kenyon into a much more comfortable position in that she can now take a pretty big sumo and not drop, but she is dealer in all last, so a Mongon sumo would knock her under.
Yeah, but she can eat 4 and 20 or 3 and 40 and be fine. This seems very similar to Julian's dealer hand. It's got that 2-4 Kanchan, very slight 7-8-9 shapes.
Ew. I get these heads all the time, and it's just, no. Where's the bleach? Any sort of disinfectant for this hand?
Yeah, Aaron.
The interesting hand, though, on the right is Aaron's, who's going for the Chinitsu in the Dora suit with at least one.
I mean, you need points Honitsu or Chinitsu in the door
No, this
suit.
is a
That's the way to do it.
perfectly reasonable play. Julian probably just going to, well, you don't have to call the chute if you just draw the third one. And I don't really see a way that Julian can get to 30,000 or even get to third place, out of third place. So I'd just be willing to call that down and take my 1,000.
Yeah.
If you were within manga and sumo range of Kenyan, maybe you try and greed for a little bit more, but here it's only a 12,000 swing, which is going to be enough, even if someone else adds a Ricci stick to the middle for you.
Right. It's gonna take a Hanetsumo to do anything for Julian, so it hasn't had the opportunity to call anything just yet. And now Ishanten probably.
And you just cut the one. You could also Sakigiri the 3-so,
I think that
saying
was
I
the
really want
decision.
that Dora shape. Yeah, that makes sense.
One pin definite. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
doesn't matter. Well, now do you just Dama? And the answer is
no.
no. We don't Dama around here.
Yeah, she knows she has two drawing pools at least, with Aaron going to go full
Aaron's going to
offensive.
shove anything. Kenyon might shove, but at the same time has no reason to. And yeah, when that 5 comes out, that's an instant sign to Kenyon. Just get out of here. And there's Tempai on the left. Going to chase it down, waiting 1-4 pin for Ricci Chun Dora 1.
Two-horse race right now. 2-5 Mon is 3 left in the wall. 1-4. Oh,
There's the 1.
that's correct, but
Ricci Chun Dora 1. Or a 3 would be the comeback.
one is
Nope, gets the Mungun. But because it's direct hit from Kenyon, that Uradora will swing the positions, and Julian will sneak out of here with second.
nice find for Julian. It will be almost that mark. But we noted that even one Ricci stick not enough.
And Jen gets the plus 20 Uma there. 55 overall. Well played. Julian gets the minus 0.6. Nice little comeback there to mitigate almost all the damage over the course of the game. Kenyon was doing pretty well at points, but then the deal it on the end's going to hurt. Minus 9.4. And Aaron had that Honitsu, and that was honestly about it for the whole game. Just a rough situation.
Yeah, that early dealing made sense, but it led to more and more aggression. And, well, Aaron's still very comfortably in the middle of the pack. Jen now comfortably in the middle of the pack, as comfortable as you can get, given the earlier position. Big pickup for her, and that means A2 division is completely set going into
Yeah,
session
and if
6.
you're anyone else below, you're not happy when someone sneaks out of the danger zone of demotion, because those 5, there will be 5 demotions, so it makes it much harder for Wenshin, Steven, and Damien to climb out, or similarly easier to pull Kaz and Riley back in.
Yeah, these matchups are going to be incredibly important going into that final session, because, of course, I believe Riley and Damien will be at the same table, as well as
Yes,
Cass
they'll
and
have their
Steven.
snake ladder as well.
I think we've got the pairings up for that. Tables for A2. Looks like it will be Clinton, our number 1 seed, against Stanley, Riley, and Damien. The second table will be Kenyon facing Andrew, Kaz, and Steven. Third table, Bichen, Matthias, Jen, and Wenchen. Fourth table, Julian, Sarah, Aaron, Hanley. And final table, Eric, Vincent, Brian, and Eric with a C. So it sort of goes
Also,
up to
that's amusing because neither of the Erics are the Eric from the club Vincent is from.
down. That's true. Vincent plays 2 non-clubmate Erics, and then Brian at that table.
We also, at the same time, some B1 matches have completed, so we have those ready to go as well. And the tables for B1 will be Barry, Aldwin, Ryan, and Pio. Table 2, Jay, Amy, Greg, and Henry. Table 3, Rachel, Edwin, Galhan, and Philip. Table 4, Josh, Irie, Harrison, and John. Ooh, Irie and Harrison at the same table. I sense an amount of some trash talking from Harrison and a lot of suffering to be involved, regardless of who ends up winning. And the last one, Kayla, Michael, Daniel, and Andrew.
All right. I love seeing these matchups. It's going to be so exciting to see exactly what goes down in session 6. Some very tense matchups in A2 and B1. Barry, J, and Rachel, very, very secure. But that means that the 2 remaining spots, 4th and 5th place, are going to be totally up for grabs. And it looks like there's going to be a lot of competition for those spots.
Yeah,
Even
there's this huge gap right now between Vincent and Sarah. That's what 77.5 between 6th and 7th. That's a pretty big gap.
right, it's going to be a lot more difficult for these A2 standings to catch up. But I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it happen multiple times, especially with the way the snake ladder works out. Every table has relevance, so you will not want to miss the excitement that will start next week as the session 6 games begin on Monday. I'm not sure we'll be streaming the Monday night games. I might be playing Monday night, but definitely we'll have our regular Wednesday broadcast, and we will have as many of those games broadcast as we can because they are the most exciting ones. Absolutely, every season.
Section 6 is always the one people want to watch. Plus, of course, there are people we haven't cast in Armel. We try to hit everyone over the course of the season. So if you haven't seen yourself up, keep an eye out because we're looking for games. Get them scheduled so it helps us out so we can get you covered too.
Absolutely, for those divisions that have their pairings up, tables will be preparing lobbies to schedule your games will be prepared soon. So be prepped and ready to schedule as soon as you can.
All right, this is when you do our obligatory plugs. You can see it up there. The website, the Twitter, at American Ricci, and of course YouTube. I keep saying we'll get up there eventually that it's youtube.com/at American Ricci. Soon TM, which means somewhere between now and 2100 the year. But I say soon TM.
Of course, that link will still work, and at American Ricci on all the socials is easy to
All
do
right,
as
there
well.
is also a B2 one match to finish up before that can officially be announced.
Cool.
But a whole bunch of action. We're going to do as much of session 6 as we can. So stay tuned and have a good evening.
Oh, see y'all in the next one.